Yes, they've got big wideouts, can run, catch the ball well. They've had a successful season, and it's going to be quite a challenge for us because even when you got them covered and they're that big, sometimes they can go up, jump over you, and catch them. So it's one thing just to cover them, but now you got to make a play on a guy that's big and can really jump up and catch it.
Are they any different whether it's Franklin or Mock at quarterback?
Offense doesn't change. I mean, they still run the same offense. Both the quarterbacks are very good players. I look at both those guys as guys that could be starters on, just about any SEC team. So, not much changes.
How much of a challenge is it for your line to kind of go against that offensive line that's created a bunch of holes and really kind of set the pace for their team?
Quite a challenge. Those guys are very, very good blockers. Most of the guys played last year were young guys, and now they're, developed into good veteran players, and it's going to be quite a challenge for our guys.
Was Bud receptive to you guys moving him around and kind of trying him in different places? It seemed like his first 2 years here, his head spun sometimes because he was playing so many different places. Is that, it makes him more valuable, obviously, but what are the...
Well, Bud is such a good player, that you want to try to put him at the point of attack. He's just so dynamic. We got him a base at end was our plans that he would learn in. So he got that base underneath him. Then, as our package grows, then we try to use him more. And actually, Bud probably has the least amount of missed assignments on our football team. Bud is in the right spot the majority of the time, and therefore is one of our most effective players.
Is it surprising, given how much you're asking him to do, that he has so few?
Well, it's not surprising because I think that he's a smart player. I think he's a very smart player. He's a very smart person. So I wasn't shocked when he was able to be successful doing that.
How would you evaluate the defensive backs just as a whole this season?
We've done some good things, but none of us at any position on defense have played outstanding. We've got a lot to get better at, and we've got a great challenge this week against a good team to prove the improvements that we've made.
You and Mark have been part of some prolific turnover teams, all the way going back to Wyoming. How frustrating is it to look at one interception over the course of 9 games?
Yeah, it's tough. You'd like to see those guys finish more plays and make more interceptions. But like Coach Stoops says, we just harp on the process, and hopefully the outcome will be there.
As of late, we're seeing more and more of Khalid Henderson talk about his play.
Khalid's played good for us. He's been involved in our nickel packages. Some of those teams that we played earlier in the year were more big sets and pro-style offenses, and Trayvon played more. He's bigger and more talented for those type of offenses. And Khalid is, skilled more in coverage, and so he's been involved more because we played these teams that have been more spread.
Is Jason's injury affecting his playing time at all?
Jason's the same situation as Khalid or Trayvon. Jason was in our big packages. You know what I mean? He and Bud were both on the field at the same time when we were playing those pro-style offenses. And now that we've seen more spread offenses, he and Bud rotate in together. So, his reps have limited because he's rotating with Bud.
Is there anything magical or drills and things you can do to create more INTs?
I wish there was, We do everything that we've always ever done, so I think that being in the right place is critical, having them covered. But not only that, it's finishing the play. We got to finish the play. We've had our opportunities to catch the ball, and we just haven't done it.
Coach, when you're playing big offenses that average 40 points a game or somewhere around there, do you set week-to-week goals like we only want them to score 2 touchdowns or stuff like that?
Yeah, we set week-to-week goals on where we want to be, and but each game is different. You may win a game 17-10, or you may win it 45-42. So once you get the tempo of the game going and you see what the matchup's like, then you just got to do what you can on defense to win the game.
With the lack of interceptions, is that somewhat on the defensive line for not forcing the quarterback or rushing them into maybe bad throws?
Somewhat. Yeah, we've got some good pressure though lately. I think we've last few games had a good amount of sacks and pressure. So I wouldn't put too much on them.
Mainly just on the defense.
That and the situation, we haven't been as effective on stopping the run, so we haven't forced, as many passing plays as we would like.
You got a bunch of 220-pound receivers, and some smaller defensive backs. Do you do some more physical stuff with them this week, just to emphasize not just stopping them from catching the ball, but from turning a short play into a much bigger one?
That's true. We've got to be sound on the perimeter, and not only in tackling, which you're alluding to, but also on defeating blocks on the perimeter, because not only are they hard to bring down, but when they don't have the ball in their hands, they're very effective blockers out there too on the perimeter. So we've been emphasizing that this week in practice.
Are there any advantages to having smaller cornerbacks out against bigger receivers as far as jamming along the line and being able to get under his pass?
Quickness is the key of defensive back, and so that's the most critical thing, is to have them covered and to be quick. But the size advantage will fall into place when they get into their route and the ball goes up in the air and you got them covered. Who jumps up and catches them? And, the smaller guy's just going to have to make a play.
How aware are coaches of some of the NFL coaches going down with various illnesses and issues? I mean, does this job eventually kind of take a toll on you, and how do you kind of ward that off?
Well, I don't know how to ward it off, but it can take a toll on you. It's very demanding, and everybody has high standards. And I think part of the problem with coaches is the pressure that we put on ourselves. We all want to win, we all want to be successful, and that's why we got in the business. The competitive nature. So I think some of those guys, that stress is related because of where they want to go.
How much older do you feel than your actual age sometimes because of this job?
Well, when I see guys I used to coach asking me questions, I start to feel a lot older. I don't know. Just take it one day at a time. It's a fun job. It really is to coach football and to be around young men, and to be a part of the action. But it's very demanding, and sometimes that can take a toll on you.
Mark said he's as aware of the toll this job can take as anyone. His father passed away coaching a game. You do a lot of things, family and things out here. Does he, as a boss, seem more aware of how hard it can be on you in terms of how he handles you guys as a staff and trying to make sure you stay fresh and don't neglect other parts of your life?
Coach Stoops is fantastic. He's a wonderful family man. Just like he said, every Tuesday night for us is family night. So our families come up here and eat dinner with us before we go back to work. And he does everything he can within the job to make sure that we're spending time with them and getting the rest that we need.
Hey, folks, thank you. When you get to